What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 46 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Thorgrim Grudgebearer Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we have relinked the realms and are now moving to wipe out the Chaos Dwarfs and for some reason Valkyria for good. They're probably the last factions that we will seek to actually wipe out on the map, and obviously while we could head into the Chaos realms and deal with them, I think having defeated Kairos, having defeated Tamarkan, having defeated Archaon, and soon to having had defeated Valkyria, we will at least have cast down all of their lords. It would, it would bloat the admin and everything just to bother going up here, and certainly there isn't any real need as long as the grudges are fulfilled and as long as we have armies on the border should the enemies show up with a nice few stacks. Gotta have something for the throng to do, otherwise they'll just be deep in their cups all the time. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time, I did end the turn between the episodes, so we got a brand new turn and everybody left to move. The major thing is the last of the elves that are part of our grudge, Mr. Imric. I was hoping that he would march down to meet our dragon slayers in Stochel Gundrickson, but it looks like he has decided instead to go for Barrow of Malice, which unfortunately has no defenders, so we're going to have to try to deal with it somehow. We will still, however, move our dragon slayers towards Imric, and I'm hoping that he will either fail to attack or something. We shall see. Just gotta prepare. I doubt that he'll attempt to go after Stochel here, even with Meneath near. But we'll see. Oh, it's interesting. The Vespa here has a better army than Imric himself does. Well, what are you gonna do? And it's not a bad one. I got Shadow Warriors, Silverin Guard, Lothern Sea Guard, War Lions and stuff. Imric has his basics, and I was about to say maybe he hasn't lost, but I guess he hasn't lost in a while, but he did lose his Dragon Princess, so he must have lost his main stack fighting Malice or fighting somebody out here at some point. I also see a second Vespa. Everybody's riding Vespas today out here, and this one probably less of a threat because every single settlement here, wisely I guess, we decided to wall up, so it should be okay. Anyway, we'll get to that in a bit. Let's start Thorgrimmin, as one does. Thorgrim, I believe, let's see, you were looking for Kugath. How? Well, you can't reach anything here, so you'll just go as far as you can, and I guess we'll send the follower. There we go. Damn, I bet wrong. I was hoping he's here, but who knows? Maybe Kugath will... Ooh. Oh, that's not bad. He's got the Noxbringer, a ton of Exalted Plague Bearers. He's got a Great Chaos Dragon, Bilious Thunderguff. That's nice. That's real nice. I'm curious to see where he goes, and I'm hoping that he'll attack us with these armies, though he might just try to kill off a Mr. Rakaka here. But we'll see. Anyway, Groth Barak, you're headed down to Volka's Roost, and see how I mean? You know what? No, I'm not moving yet. You're out of order. The whole system is out of order. Anyway, let's have Joseph of Zorn move next, because he's next in the order. Malice is going to run from him for obvious reasons. Oh. Never mind, Malice has decided to accept his doom. There's no purpose to fighting this, as it's just a pile of Black Ark Corsairs and unleveled ones at that, and 2/3 of a stack. And Joseph's already defeated this army, or Malice's army, well, Malice's army and several other armies. And if that didn't stand a chance of this little army, certainly wouldn't. Daughter of Alea and Joseph, you're going to move into Swamp Eater Camp. Looks like you can reach it. And I guess we're about to find out whether this wipes Malice out for good. I mean, I guess it doesn't because the Black Arcs will remain alive, but it is what it... Oh, game. Okay, fine. We'll besiege this, and we may fight it or we may not. I'll think about it. I take it this place doesn't have walls, so it would be a field battle, so I wouldn't mind fighting it, so... we might, depending on what other good fights we have as options in this particular episode. Grimly, you have finished wiping out the Cornate jerks that are out here, but unfortunately that caused you to move 2% of your movement range, and thus you cannot jump straight towards Valkyria. So, you're gonna just march stance and start moving towards her this way. I'm actually not entirely sure that it wouldn't be faster just sit here and jump down to Dark Citadel, but it is what it is. We shall see. Ulthur Stonehammer. No, you're not in order. We're doing an order now. What is up with me today? That's twice I didn't do that. Alrighty, Grimbrindle. You... Someone could reach all the way to Darko Wharf here, but I guess you cannot. Alright, fine, fair enough. I think we'll send you to the edge of this territory. Start picking up the territories out here. And that seems like the most sensible thing to do. And keep an eye on Kolek as well. Maybe we'll just jump over to him and see if he tries to run. Finn Arkandraskelson, you're next on the menu. Actually, you're not next on the menu because these guys are besieging Queequel. You're just going to sit here, and you're going to see if they take it themselves or whether you can... Well, you're not going to help them. If they take it, they take it. If they don't, they don't. It'll all be fine. Anyway, Rearguard Asgal, you were building troops for several different armies and now kind of have to split them off. Yeah, I guess we could use another Reclaimer army out here. I wonder if... I mean, we could just jump down here and keep building. Oh, you don't have the engineer structure, do you? Huh. Interesting, though, because we could use this engineer structure to keep building an aerial force and then the other one to transfer this stuff to. I think that's what we'll do. Alright, so we'll just summon another Reclaimer Lord. We have a Dowie Tactician and Kazadni Grimtideson. I think that'll be good. Yeah, alright. Dowie Tactician it is. You can be a Generalist and Reclaimer. Grimtides, and there we go. Soon we're actually going to cut down on the Reclaimers and probably delete half of them because we're coming up on a point where we no longer need them. Anyway, I would like you to trade all of this to the Reclaimer, and then I would also like you to build, well, several of these Thunderbarges have to go to another army, but for now at least build basic gyrocopters. And then you'll split this off into 2 armies. Obviously 6 Thunderbarges would be silly. I don't really like using more than 2 ever because they're obnoxious. I have the same policy about Dreadquakes when playing the Chaos Dwarfs because they're just so obnoxiously strong. Anyway, Thorak Ironbrow. We could grab Dolgan Camp, we could go for Temple of Hema. There is a fairly decent pile of defenders there, though I guess if we move... Nah, I guess we have to go to Dolgan Camp. Because if we go straight to Temple of Hema, then the Dolgan Camp army will just attack Altean Hills, and while we don't really care about it, what we do care about is having to go back and deal with them. And I still haven't decided whether we just abandon all this or just transfer it to our Cathan friends. We'll see. Ultimately, shouldn't make too much of a difference. Anyway. You know, I also think it's such a testament to how gigantic this map is that at this point in the campaign, where we are covering, I don't know, let's say 2/3 of the world, a very, very large portion of the map, especially considering the territory that we've given back. And yeah, would you look at that? Restored Empire, Reichland, and Vissenland, and now just the north to give back to them. We've restored Kislev as well, Orthodoxy, Ice Court, and then a little bit of Orthodoxy. And as somebody suggested, we'll most likely give the Kislev foothills to Stankia, so she can guard the foothills and protect Kislev from, well, us, I guess, but not really, but you know what I mean. It's very nice to see, and I also really like this, Boris versus coastline that we have going out here. Yeah, sometimes painting the map is fun. Anyway, what was I saying? Was talking about something, and then I got excited, and then I promptly forgot. Whatever. Let's keep going. I guess we'll ignore it for now. Gottree Holdfast. Now you can't occupy Brockle, I assume, because of the presence of the. Oh wait. I assume one of you guys can actually reach this, huh? Joseph Bugman. The only one. Oh, are you just out of range? No, you are in range. All right. I guess we'll declare war on Mr. Kazarak, who is somewhere here. He's right here. Wait. I have an idea. You are going to occupy Kuttenholz. Like so. Kazarak, since we're not... I guess we're not at war. Were we really not at war? Huh. Okay, anyway. You're going to occupy this, we're going to uncollect the income, then Kazarak should in theory be within our range. We are hidden, but... or he is hidden, rather. But it might be that we might be able to catch him. So I was really hoping to send Bugman against him, but it's alright. We'll send Bugman against the other guy. Anyway, one short of Strike the Runes. Not a big deal. Would have been nice, but I'm going to level you up just in case you find Kazarak and bite off a little bit more than you can chew. Let's see. You have no artillery in this army. It is a Reclaimer army, after all, but I guess we can max out Overseer and Relentless, maybe. The other stuff doesn't really matter. You might get some benefit out of this if we decide to put some artillery in your army, but it is not super likely, let's say. Anyway, just stay there. Just a random smattering of troops, as is perhaps typical at this point. Anyway, Bugman, you are going to Vinson. We will declare war on these guys and not bother calling anybody to help, as we hardly need it. Alright, like so, and then Bugman, you can besiege Winson, which we will most likely fight because the garrison here at Beastmen capital should be actually pretty decent. Bestigors, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's low casualties, but there's good stuff. There's Bulgors, there's Razorgore chariots, which are great. 6 Centaurs. This is a very solid army, and if the roles were reversed, I'd be pretty confident in the Beastmen. I gotta say, and especially since Beastmen are such a sort of easy unga-bunga, you know, click attack and win sort of faction, you know? Anyway. We'll deal with that in a bit, and possibly the other battle as well. But anyway, Finn, Arkan, Raskelson, what am I? Oh, right. You're kind of stuck where you are. Malachi. Alright, so technically speaking, we want you to move northward and reclaim Carrick Doom where you started. So I guess we'll have you move towards either Great Slave Port or maybe even Uzkalak. Both are good options. Claiming Uzkalak on the way to Great Slave, or Great Slave Port on the way to Carrick Doom is probably not the worst idea in the world. And then while I have you, you can take Granivsk, Mr. Reclaimer Redbeard. And what do we have here? Oh no, I thought it was a real army. But it is not, though we do have to watch out for Valkia. We don't know where she is. We did see her with a full stack here before when she was attacking the Roto of the Dawn, and it's a distinct possibility that she'll attack us soon. And maybe I shouldn't have auto-resolve, because, I mean, you could die, but at the same time, you're a Reclaimer army, and that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. With that, the Disciples of Hashet are destroyed, and we are one step closer to crossing out another legendary grudge. Just in case Valkia comes for you, though, let's level you up. You have Thunderer, which is the main thing, and I don't know if you're going to bother getting anything else, but let's get you Tactician, into Rally, into Dowie Firepower, into Stand Your Ground. Let's also get you a Rune of Grimnir and Obstinacy. I would also like you to go through Full Plate Armor and Destroy the Heart into Hard to Hit. And then restock, which was the thing I wanted here. But I guess you can have Seasoned Marksman as well. Not that I expect you to do a crazy amount of damage, I'll admit, but you know, better than nothing. And we should level the Engineer as well. So break open the casks, ballistics, calibration, triangulation, flash bomb, requisition, Zip bar 42 pounders. Let's max out Sapper and requisition then. And then we'll go through We Are the Elite, but nobody here is yet anywhere near elite, so yeah. Alrighty, now, let's get back to doing it in order. Now I'm about half and half with doing some stuff in order and some stuff out of it. Still pretty good, considering my track record. Dwinbar Ranulfson, you're moving to Burning Face Camp now. The Greybeard's Prospectors have been destroyed. Let their memory be a curse for all dwarfendom, and let, well, actually, you know what? Everybody just forget about them. Never mention them again. Nobody ever say the Greybeard's Prospectors again in this particular campaign. In the next one, we will again bend all resources that we need to wipe them out. I gotta remember to do that in my Orc campaign. We are, yeah, we could go down here in the Orc campaign. Yes, good, Ruinous, good. Anyway, Dwinbar Ranulfson, Reclaimer Helldower. Reclaimer Helldower, you are nowhere near to anything you can reclaim anymore, right? Okay. You can then just try to go as far as you can through the woods, which is not very far, alright. Can you actually go further? Oh, wow. What? Why? You still have enough Nurgle corruption to... Okay, fine, I don't care. I'm just going to Rosefells. Heal a little bit more there and get a little bit of public order, a little bit of corruption reduction. What we're kind of doing is we're reclaiming territories from Chaos for the Empire, and at the same time, what we're doing is decorrupting them so that when we give them back to them, they're not, well, you know, they're not all screwy. Groth, I was moving you, and then, oh, okay, you can't quite reach Vulkaz Roost. Alright, so you're gonna go right here, to this side. Ah, Mr. Fator is here with the garbage little stack. Oh, watch him ignore you and then move towards Agrul Migdal. Although I would wonder if that many Nurglings could take Agrul Migdal with the walls. Would be kind of interesting to see, but anyway. Morgus the Death Dealer, you are on the way to Zan Migdal. I guess we can't march stance you because it's not safe, so we'll just do that. Kazran Grimbrow, you have... What do you need? Alright, so you're you're going this way. We decided to make you kind of a generalist lord, but we can certainly combine tradition and innovation. I don't dislike the idea of using Thunderer with you. Longbeards are fine. Maybe keep that Hammerer unit. Do we get rid of the Miners? We have to... I mean, I guess we could get rid of the Grudge Throwers. I mean, we don't necessarily need the Miners here. You know what, yeah, mostly I just want to give him the 2 Thunder Barges, so let's do this. We'll do the 2 Thunder Barges, we'll replace the 2 Miners, we'll make you into an actual artillery piece, maybe give you another hammer. Oh, wait, I just thought of something. You go here for a second. Can these Miners be evolved to Hammerers? I doubt it, but let's find out. Dwarf Warriors, Longbeards... No, I need rank 5 to be Hammerers. Huh. Well, we could give one of the Longbeards... Oh, we could actually... Wait a moment. Wait a moment. We can evolve you into a Hammerer. Like so. The only problem is the Hammerers get buffs from Grimnir's heirs, and these guys get Axe Lord buffs, and which is not great, but nonetheless... The regular Dwarf Lords aren't as point hungry, so it's not a big as big a deal. We'll keep the 1 Iron Drake around. We'll give you back... And then we have to get something out. You know what? Do this. Take out the Drake gun. Give a Longbeard. You know what? Take both of these guys out. I think if we use Thunderer in this army, we'll give you a couple more Bugman's Rangers. If it should be needed. But otherwise, I'm happy with your army as it is. And this cannon, maybe we'll make it into a... Flint cannon would mean fire and fury. I'm gonna say regular cannon for now, and then we'll see if it evolves or whether we need to actually bother. Otherwise, I'm happy. The gyrocopters... Maybe we want the brimstone gun variant here? Let's see. We have decent single targeting capability. No, you know what? We need some more infantrymen and capability, so we'll do that variant. Alright, and rearguard hold fast. I don't believe you're needed here anymore. We'll delete you too. High rank though you are, but there's no purpose to you here. And you can be reset in case you need to be used again. Lovely. Alright. That reduces the admin slightly as well. Assuming we don't, you know, immediately build up another new lord. Mornguard Whitebeard. You guys, I believe, are supposed to begin moving towards the orcs. My main concern is that we don't know where their main stack is. It almost makes me think that we should move them together. Though I suppose... you know what? Go here. The best plan might be to move to their capital and see if they... What is this? Glumba, a great Karazmonger. You mong the Karazes, eh? Interesting. Yeah, we will declare war on you. And we want to also take... We want Zulnagras and Skratiznag. Declare war. Don't ask for help. Iron... Oh. Okay, wait. We don't want to fight those guys right now when we're busy. You are at war with Chattel of Jar. Chattel of Jar, we will join your war against the slaves of Jar, and like so, we don't care about the money. Also like so, beautiful. Then we will have you besiege Skratiznag. And I think we'll actually move this army in with you, because I just figure that if the enemy's main stack is around here, the Mornguard probably would struggle against it, and this will also enable us to easily auto-resolve without hopefully taking too much Slayer Okay, it's still a decent amount of Slayer damage, but it's better than nothing. Anyway, we'll take Skratiznag, and then I don't know if we're keeping it for ourselves, so we can just... Actually, wait, Skratiznag will probably keep. We will trade maybe Zulnagras. Alright, so you can delete this, and delete this, and delete this, and delete this, and then we can build up a no. Trading Depot. More critical a thing. Alright, all looking good. The crater around Jarnagrund is nearly ours. One step further to wiping out the Chaos Dwarfs. King Azrael still waiting for the spawn of the endless tides of undead. Belegar Ironhammer moving now to White Skull's camp in order to wipe out the elves down here for good and keep heading southward against the undead and the demonic. Not resolve. A little bit of damage to the miners, but we saw last episode them obliterate enemy range units in, well, in range. That worked out reasonably well. Yeah, build this. Alrighty, and then I guess we can upgrade you. It's not like we can upgrade anything else here anyway, because everything's low level, because I guess it was only recently taken by Kugath. So falls Mr. Eltharian's faction. 2 down, 1 to go. Alrighty.
We can't
Who's next? Ungrim Iron Fist. You, my friend, I guess we'll move towards Schlaghugel. And, I mean, technically speaking, you're probably better at Vorbig work, but maybe we can have the other guy do it. Actually, it might be nice to send Ungrim to the Albion Bowl as well. If anybody should maybe go, if anybody would, you know, enjoy it, it would probably be the Slayers. There's a lot of stuff up there. Frankly, one army is probably not enough up there anyway. Assuming, you know, the campaign lasts long enough for us to bother. Oh, I could have sent Mr. Thingrim with you. Yeah, whatever. Alright, Thingrim, keep following, I guess, and maybe in camp stance. We just have to catch Karaz-a-Karak as well, and oh, you'll be just out of range if you do that. Oh, I should have just jumped you. Oh, well. Reclaimer, also Slanesh giggle. Reclaimer Heldauer. Dietershofen. Oh, would you look at that? Admiral Exarian Shadow Dart. We have a little Corsairs of Spite Admiral floating out there. Well, you can attempt to attack the Hammerers if you like. They're heavily damaged now from the auto-resolve, and you can attempt it. We wish you luck. Alrighty, Dietershofen is ours. We will High King. No, we will empower the guilds here, and we will upgrade everything before we transfer it back to our Imperial friends. Alright, also, I gave you Grimnir's heirs, right? I did not, I should have. Grimnir's heirs here, we may as well venerate Grimnir for additional melee attack and missile resistance. We don't need Smednir for hammerers, that would be a waste. Frankly, Grugni would also be decent for the melee attack for them, but it feels like this is a Grimnir army, so we'll do Grimnir. Or of Endurance, full plate armor, should probably have Root Marcher. Obstinacy is always good. I don't know that we'd ever put anything other than hammerers in here, but in case they need... Well, we already have hammerers with the with gyrocopters. We could give them some guns. Let's give them some guns, maybe. If we bother. It's just a Reclaimer army, so, yeah. We will do here Honored by Grimnir and then Stand Your Ground, especially since these guys have been leveling up quite well. Not really having to share XP with other units, since there's so few of them in here. Alrighty. Other than that, I think we just want to get the Lords in Waiting, which actually doesn't buff anybody, but Hack and Slash does, so we'll get Hack and Slash. And we get a little bit of the extra campaign movement range and replenishment, which are good things. Hard to hit, Scarred Vet, Flow of Battle to speed us up and carry us to the foe, and then start moving through Rune of Grimnir. Alright, thank you, Reclaimer Heldauer. Ungrim has taken his position. You, I assume... You can do that. I don't even know why I care, but anyway. It's the principle of the thing. Considering he's active, essentially acting as a follower lord right now, King Azrael is good and waiting. Thugni of Zorn. You and Hegenbor Ironpick. Oh, right. Oh, but you don't have Siege Attacker. Oh! Demon Slayers do have Siege Attacker. I lied. Okay then. You are going to go to Vorbig work, and we will move Hegenbor Ironpick to reinforce. Until we find a proper enemy stack at any rate. And grab this little swampland territory, and how close are our... where are they here? Follower Skolson, yeah. Alright, you go all the way to Middenheim, gotta bring this guy his Grail Guardians. Alright, now, take this. Out of resolve, obviously. Too many basic troops in that army. Even if it is a near full stack, it's still too basic for the, for our Slayers and our Knights to bother with them. Talisman, you know what? Keep the Talisman of Preservation, I don't care. We have enough. Alrighty, looking good to me. We're nearly at the edges of the borders, which will mean getting rid of, well, moving half of these Slayer armies, and, or Slayer armies, Reclaimer armies, and then speeding matters up a bit. I guess you'll want to move down to Nagripper Camp. Go here. It would be really nice if Jiao Ming actually moved to help us. Oh, he's not at war with the Maggot Host? And he's not at war with these guys. Huh. Weird. Okay. You wanna declare war on the Maggot Host, please? Join war. Maggot Host. Right here. 0. Huh. Okay. You wanna also join war against Sharkaon, maybe? Alright, you'll do for a little bit of cash. The Dolgan are one of Archaon's vassals. I mean, that should probably keep him busy for a while. Let's give him some money and then let him do that. Alright, enjoy, Jiao Ming. It's just making more problems for him, but, you know. He's probably so out of it high on Warpstone that he doesn't really... Yeah. Anyway, Brock Ironpick, you, still, fantastic job having destroyed Skaven Blight, or taken Skaven Blight. You will move, I guess, towards Largos. Largos? Yeah, just go as far as you can, alright. And we'll see if Mad's map sends you elsewhere. Biroth Barnock, I guess... Baruch, rather, will move to Solsona. We'll eventually most likely run into Mr. Wicked Claw. Also, these territories will... No Wicked Claw here. Also, these territories will similarly most likely be traded away. Not like... Well, especially... Well, the Lowlands territories, definitely. We really just need some factions to hold them. I might just give them to the Lizards. If only their capital wasn't up here in Montana, so we could hold the mountains instead of having to keep some of them here, but whatever. Whatever. We'll call Skaven Blight the sort of edge bastion. There we go. Reclaimer Grimson. Where are we gonna send you? Uzkalani will probably be the target for Reclaimer Redbeard. I guess you could just sort of start traveling this way, maybe through our own territory as well. Like so. Maybe to Great Slave Port would work out as well. Alright, looks good to me. Reclaimer Silverhorn, you are moving towards Landril Barrow. And hello, Gouger. What do you have? Ooh, a couple of Ragnarok Flingers. What do we have? But no defenses here, so... Too weak. Too weak. Okay, now, why in the... How in the possible heck would this have happened? 3 of the Thunderers with Drake Guns heavily damaged. 3 of the Slayer Pirates heavily damaged. On what grounds? What the heck are you talking about, game? This is so bizarre. Is it because of the 3 Biggins? I don't know. The non-dispersed damage has always felt so weird to me, and it remains feeling kind of weird. Alrighty, collect income... Yeah, ooh, hello, Tancred Circle. You might actually fight that. I wish we had a proper army up here to ascend against it, but I'm not complaining. Don't bother collecting the income. We can... I guess upgrade it? It doesn't really matter since we're not keeping it. Alright, do that. Enemy killed in battle, Rager Standard Choir Master, Stonemason, Daughter of Valea. Good. Alright, who is the next? Not King Azrael. Morgastrenger. You are headed now to the Barrow of Quila, and your first proper fight. You're going to jump right beside it in the hope that they will possibly attack you. Do we have anybody here? No, but we do have a tier 5 settlement with some solid stuff. I think it will definitely be the sort of a actual proper battle for the Iron Slayers, and in that light, we should level them up. Alrighty, so you have Grimnir's heirs, which is the important thing. We obviously want Honored by Grimnir, and Axelord and Blessed by Grugni for the Longbeards. Alright, so you have Axelord, you have Grimnir's heirs. We should probably get Tactician for the Organ Guns. So that's also Morgrim's favored. And Tactician. Lovely. And while it would be nice to get Forge Fire and all that stuff, do you already have other runesmiths? And I think Obstinacy will give us more of a benefit than putting points into your runes here. Nothing else is army-wide buffs, eh? Alright, you have Venerate Smednir, you have Invoke Runes of Grugni. Let's at least get you Rune of Oath and Steel, because we use it constantly, and then maybe Damping, although it wouldn't help us in this particular fight. There we go. So there's our up to 35 armor off the battlefield. I want to say that means 75 or 85 armor on the battlefield. We'll find out. You will want to get Retinue Physician, no doubt about that. So, wow. Maybe we should go all the way through to strike the runes. Alright, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... And then we'll have just enough to strike the runes. Like so. And then you have Strike the Runes, and you have Rune Masters, so... Oh, actually, you don't have Strike the Runes, but you do have Rune Master. And you are free to... Leadership when defending doesn't really matter, because we have Slayers in the army, but whatever. You can take the Rune of Spite, though we have... Armor Piercing aplenty. A Rune of Slowness, you should get at least the Overcast variants of Rune of Breaking. And we'll go for Rune of Grimnir. Speaking of Rune of Grimnir, you have it. You have Big Game Slayer. I guess we could get Vanquish Chaos in case you ever meet them in combat. Oh, actually, I lied. Let's get We Are the Elite. A little bit faster for everybody. This doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's just Hero Succession, whatever. Deadly Blade. Success chance, not succession. Alright, who's next? Who's next? That was Morgus Drenger. Alright, you know what? Jomic Doomtamer. Alright, you know what? Joseph Bugman is after Jomic, so we'll move Jomic and then we'll have Bugman fight his fight. We've gotten long enough without it. You will actually have to proceed down towards Black Fortress now, I guess, because there's nobody else here. I'm willing to bet they're still probably building up other armies. Oh, there's Drazuath. I wonder if we could chase him down. Give it a try. A Lamatark Hammerfist, and I think we can reach him. We won't be able to, we'll suffer attrition afterwards, but I guess it'll be worth it to wipe him out. Just do it. And hopefully it doesn't severely damage our units, which is a distinct possibility, but we're about to find out. Let's see what we got. And 103 losses. I don't know how he possibly could have managed that, but whatever. And of course another one of each of our light warslets dies. Which is annoying, but what can you do? Can you at least go into mining camp stance? You can. Which will at least make you immune to the attrition. And won't let you heal, but that's life. Now at least Drazuath falls again. Alright, Jomic Doomtamer, we know who was next, and that was Joseph Bugman and his caravan's attack on the one and only capital settlement of the Beastmen here. He will strike. We will... probably not need to level for this. I think the game is giving us a little bit too much favor, considering this is a pretty solid stack, but it is a garrison... Oh, but this is a herdstone battle, meaning it's going to be full of woods and really difficult to fire. Oh, that's a dangerous place for a caravan to be. Let's see if it survives. Go. Alrighty, for the ancestors. We must deliver this beer for the ancestors, but also for us. Anyway, here we go. The beer will be delivered once we make our way through the Beastmen territories, the Herdstone in the distance, but sometimes you gotta just go through rather than go around. You gotta admit, the Beastmen maps, rarely seen, but they're always so cinematic with that massive tree canopy and the corrupted territories of the Herdstones. The color schemes are pretty neat. I feel like we don't see enough of these maps, but anyway, we're going to start approaching the enemy. I figured that there would be more waiting for us here, but apparently not, so we'll speed it up a little bit and just allow the caravan to make its way into the enemy settlement. Looks like they're kind of bunching up around their key building, I guess. I'm not entirely sure why. Sometimes the AI has a tendency to do this when you have a lot of artillery, and they don't, so they try to stay at max range and away from the artillery. But I mean, all we have is 2 mortar war wagons. They're hardly particularly powerful artillery or any kind of real threat to the enemy, but it still might be enough for them to consider it threatening enough. Anyway, and the caravan continues to approach. I see some Bulgors running around in the distance there. And together with some Bestigors, it looks like they're going to start taking shots from, at the very least, our Slayer pirates. And, ooh, first the Bulgors goes down, and here comes the charge. It does look like we got a decent bit of stopping power, however, and we can stop them or slow them with that flash bomb, bring them down to mere 42 speed as the Pistoliers, or the Slayer pirates, and gun them down. It does, however, allow some of the Bestigors to close the distance with the big distractions that were the... that Bulgors pretty much unharmed the Bestigor herd moves, but alas for them, I imagine they won't remain unharmed for long. This is a terrible... Oh, wow, mortars, come on, man. Don't fire into our Slayer pirates. You're gonna do more damage than the Bestigors did. Anyway, what I was saying was, this is kind of a bad way for the enemy to charge. What they did is charged into the flank of the leading Slayer pirates of the column, but it's allowing the Slayer pirates, the rum runners right behind them, to continue firing right into the flanks of those Bestigors. And of course, the rest of our column, the Slayer pirates and the Bugman's Rangers behind them, continue to fire as well. Alrighty, well, our caravan is set up right in the middle of all this. Imagine just taking your caravan right into the midst of the Beastmen lair and then just daring them to come in and attack you. That's effectively what we're doing here. And fortunately, when I suppose, benefit of doing this formation, which on a regular battle can be not the most effective, but fun, but what it does have is the ability to fight enemies coming in from pretty much any side, which does work fairly well in situations like this. The mortars keep firing, the war wagons keep on sniping, and devastatingly effectively so. 425 missile strength on these guys, plenty of range, and if any enemy things, well, those Bulgors not just damage from the Slayer Pirates, but obviously from the war wagons as well. Here come some Razor Gore chariots, though how long they'll actually give this charge, or take up this charge, remains to be seen. There we go, they immediately lose about... I tried to say one thing, like a quarter, and then it became 50%, and then it became 3/4, and then they were dead. I couldn't even get it out. Anyway, all good. Enemies still coming in, but the balance of power has shifted very much to our favor. They have failed to reach the caravan, and funnily enough, the terrain of this settlement is actually really working in the caravan's favor. And because usually in open terrain, what happens is the enemy attacks us from every side, and here it is essentially funneled down all of these choke points, which allows us to be a lot safer than we normally might be, which is kind of funny. Because once again, you'd think that this is not a good place to take your caravan. Still seeing a bunch of beastmen running around. Centaurs with throwing axes attempt to close to chuck a couple of axes at us, but promptly lose about 90% of their HP. And a few more Centaurs rather, are running around, getting in each other's way. If anything, the Centaurs should be rushing us to get all the beer, because Centaurs love a good drink. But I guess it was just too dangerous. A good way to bait the Centaurs as well. Anyway. Well, it looks like the balance of power continues shifting in our favor at about 90%, 95% perhaps in our favor now. Some Gores with shields attempting to charge us after the best of Gores have failed. I don't think regular Gores are going to have a much better ability to do this. There we go. They're out. And I believe the battle is very nearly ours. It's perhaps almost time to start moving the caravan again. There we go. And just gonna start to move forward now since these guys have failed, and we can still continue shooting into the sides. And it's one of the great things about units like the Slayer Pirates and the Freed Company, that 360-degree firing range, and between them and the war wagons means a lot of potential fire going through the flanks. Which is just great. And it does look like the enemy's just about done. The Zifbar 42-pounders hit a newly coming in Gore herd. Interesting that it's a Gore herd that's the lord of the settlement, rather than a Bestigor herd. And you'd think that it would be one of the stronger enemies, but I guess not so much. Frankly, at this point, I'm a little bit surprised that the Beastmen have not yet shattered, because they are doing absolutely nothing to the caravan this time around, and I think we're just about there. Are they even going to try, or are they going to try to stay behind these platforms? We could knock them down with our mortars, but there isn't any real need. Here we get a little bit more work out of the Bugman's Rangers and Mortars, rather than the War Wagons and the regular non-mortar War Wagons and the Slayer Pirates, which have been doing a lot of work so far. But that's the benefit of having the Bugman's Rangers together with the Slayer Pirates, in that half our army can arc their shots while the other one doesn't need to. And the Beastmen book it out of there, and in fact it looks like that was the last unit that was vainly hoping and that they could achieve something. With that, the last of the enemies shatter, and the battle is ours, and Bugman wins another day. We bring down those platforms and go right over and through the Beastmen settlement. All right, very, very nice. Poor Beastmen were milling around, not really knowing what to do about this. I also like the idea that Bugman's caravan were perfectly aware that there was a Beastman herdstone in their way, but they figured, well, they have deliveries to make. There are thirsty Dowie out there somewhere, and going around the herdstone would eat up precious time. And so they just went through it, which they very much did. Well done to all of you. The Rum Runners, Sir Tozen Sootbeards did pretty darn well, and... Huh. Did I not name a unit? I thought I named another unit here. Am I crazy? Just like a couple of episodes ago. Or was it last episode? Weird. The ankle biters, did I not put them in this army? I thought it was in this army. Did I accidentally not name them? Huh, weird. Alright, maybe... I didn't dream that, did I? Anyway, Occupy. Maybe I just dreamt it and was amused at myself.
For the wisdom,
huh. Still strange. I'm going crazy, guys. Somebody's gonna have me committed. Anyway, let's see. King Azrael, you... Okay, I keep seeing you every time, and I keep having to go past you. There we go. Herrick Grundadrak. You... We'll grab this mysterious island and keep moving southward. You can maybe start on the Vampire Coast while everybody else continues on their merry way. Potion of Healing for Grundadrak, huh? Funnily enough, you don't actually need that. Oh, whoa. You don't have an item? Weird. Potion of Healing, out. You have the Armor of Destiny and the Gatekeeper's Hammer and the Talisman of Preservation. Oh, those stats. You need an Iron Warden's tankard. Oh, we must have run out of Iron Warden's tankards. I mean, I guess I could do another round of making 1 billion of them, but, I mean, honestly, not 1 billion. Even with 36,000, it's not enough to give every single hero one. I'll just do one for now. I don't want to spend all the on-screen time making Iron Warden's tankards. I already made a bunch and gave them to most lords. I'm kind of just... I don't know, I guess I just forgot about Herrick. Alright. Great, now I lost the place. It's right beside Olgard's tankard, which are going to Engineers, Iron Warden's tankard, and we'll go to this guy. Alright, there we go. Alright, so that was Herrick Grundadrak. Who is the next? Let's see here. We've got Scap Holdfast. Alright, Scap, you, I guess, are good here. You're probably going to need to push up this way. There's still a lot of Norskins and Dark Elves out there, and the slowed down army can handle them or really anything else. Let's march stance or full speed stance and just go. And on your way, especially since the Sartosans have not yet been defeated. Alright, yo. I think I went just too far, maybe? Or maybe I did not. Alright, that was just at... Reclaimer Burdrick. Reclaimer Burdrick, I would like you to encamp... Oh, okay, now. You can't use global recruitment yet anyway? Yeah, that's fine. Alright, so go right beside Zamoski. Basically, the idea is that if anybody attacks here, you can reinforce. And maybe take Fort Dolganyar while you're at it. Also, let's build the outpost. These guys are just barely alive. We need somebody to take all of this sort of snowy territory that we don't want, which is why I'm so sort of hell-bent on keeping them around. Anyway, that was Reclaimer Burdrick, Morik Grimtide's son. And the Grimtide has nearly reached some new foes, so on the way. And, oh, we have another plague here. It's just a Nurgle plague, though. It's not a Skaven plague, so it's not as big of a deal. We'll ignore it. Morngard Stonebeard. You were going to rocket test site and should probably just be able to take it. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, you have to go around like that? Alright, fine. I guess you're going to do so next turn, then. I like so. Yeah, there's not enough good units there for us to be concerned. Astoria Azrael, you are still waiting for those quarrelers. Your own quarrelers are starting to get pretty high in ranks while waiting for somebody to ferry over the Grudge Settler ones, but it is what it is. I would like to take Mount Zardel, but we know that there's a bunch more of the... Oh, there we go. Eshin rats running around, like so. And that we have to hunt down. Unless this is bait. I don't think so, though. No, we're good. Alright. Out of resolve, I didn't check that wouldn't kill off any of our units, but I don't imagine... Yeah, no, it's a weak army in March stance, and we destroyed Deathmaster Snitch's main stack, so it shouldn't be a problem. Encamp to heal. Keep moving towards Azwara and Vizea. And who's next? Story Azrael. Next up, we got Ulfar Norgrimling. He's on the warpath in terms of destroying the little Chaos Dwarf faction out here. Occupy, please. Oh, lovely. And these guys are nearly gone. Collect the income. Yeah, I guess we're keeping this territory to some degree. Yeah, we'll give the hills to the, we'll give these hills to one unit, one faction of ogres. We'll give these hills and Badlands territories to these factions of ogres. And yes, I know it's green territory and we could take it, but again, I don't, just, it's fine. We have enough to be getting on with. You, Mr. Ulfar Norgrimling. Alright, followers, Skullson. Did I not move you? Am I crazy or did it? Okay, I swear I'm going crazy. I thought I moved you to Middenheim, but I must have jumped so far ahead and moving somebody else that apparently I didn't. You are going to attack these guys. Yeah, and call your allies to help. Alright, like so. Wait, what did I just see? Did I just see ally refuse to join their side? I assume that that's what I saw. Out of resolve this for obvious reasons. Alright, well done, old as Hellheim, and then you can jump over the mountains and keep going after them. We'll ignore Village for now. He's not a grudged lord, whatever. What we now need is to try to get Grayling Moot from these guys. Now, how much is Grayling Moot worth to you? 129. Okay, so it's not in the 200s, which is great, meaning that we should be able to level up one of these. Oh, no, we can't. The Dwarf is going to interfere. I assume that Kinslayer's Haven's worth about 52, maybe? 61. That's not good. And then Dragonbone, just out of curiosity, is worth 35. Okay, so I think maybe we trade them Dragonbone, and then just keep leveling Kinslayer Haven. Hopefully, you know what? Swap this out to a another type of military structure. I don't know if the regular military structures are worth more, but just in case they are. So just give them Kinslayer Haven. I don't think we need to trade any settlements, and this one's barely worth anything anyway. Wait, 61. Oh, no, wait. We want to give them Dragonbone. Okay, I gotta recheck this again. Yeah, we want to give them Dragonbone. No, escrow, just keep it. Like, the 2-point difference won't make any kind of difference. We want to give them Dragonbone, like so. Alright, and then Kinslayer Haven, we would maybe possibly like to trade for Grayling Moot. If that doesn't happen, then we can maybe trade a Storm Raven's Roost for it. Let's, in fact, how much is it worth to you right now? Storm Raven's Roost is worth nothing. Okay, yeah, that's fine, that's fine. We expect it to be worth nothing. If that doesn't work, we can take a capital like Foul Fortress, which will be a tier 4, and they'll definitely do the trade. So after we're done here, we'll loop back around, because there's no way Oshotla defeats a village without us doing it. So we're fine, we're fine. Nobody panic. The grudge will be settled. It will be struck from the book. Reclaimer Gundrickson, you are ready. Okay, good. Go reclaim. What do you think you're just sitting here for? This is your purpose. And I was supposed to give you an engineer, wasn't I? I'm doing engineer here. Entrenched. This is, I mean, they're two different quality Reclaimer armies. This one can actually, you know, auto-resolve capital settlements, whereas this one to get heavily damaged by auto-resolving capital settlements. If you're wondering why one is, like, super high level and one is not. But the less super high level one would be a lot more to actually play a fight in, so, you know. Anyway, Barry Hergar Ironwill, you have to deliver this grudge thrower to not Brock Ironpig, but to Bernoth Baruch, who's been waiting for it for a while. Yeah. Alright, well, keep going. Just travel through friendly territory, I guess. Alright, Rearguard Half Hand, you were following somebody. Oh, you were following Azrael around, so you could just stay there and keep leeching levels, I guess. Braun Hammerfist, you, my friend. I mean, we could... I guess we could just grab Brokewater, which would allow you to move to Tancred Castle, while Reclaimer Silverhorn moves northward to Chantillon, or... Well, yeah, we should knock out the last of the Greenskins here. Actually, speaking of... Okay, obviously I'll resolve that. Occupy. Alright. Soon there will be not a lot of Reclaimer action left, which will be great. Because that'll mean so much less admin, because they'll just be sitting there. We'll probably just rename them all to, well, the ones that no longer need to move, rename them to guards or something, and then just let them do their thing. Anyway, that was Braun Hammerfist, wasn't it? Yes, Rearguard Baruch, you are still waiting here for the bloody Shadow Gore herd. You guys have no concept of how sick I am of those jerks. They're just sitting there and we can't identify them and we can't do anything about it. I don't know what's up with that. I wonder if is there a chance that if we sit on top of their army that they will eventually be caught? Now let's go right beside them. Stay there for a few turns. Who knows? Maybe they'll get caught. There's got to be a chance to... Do they try to attack you? I don't know what happened there, but anyway. That didn't happen before. We moved on top of them. Maybe they tried to attack us? I don't know. Please tell me they're dead. Please. Please. Oh, thank you, finally. Well done, bait. You have served your purpose well. Alrighty, you can now be reset. Who knows? Maybe we'll need bait again. Truly a master of his craft. Anyway, Rearguard Baruch, I guess we can now make you a Reclaimer. You served your purpose as well. Reclaimer Baruch, you have a bunch of miners, and that's fine. Frankly, we could evolve them to Longbeards if we wanted to. But for now, just head southward. And we'll need somebody to help take a few of these territories. It looks like the Cathians are on the warpath again, and should at least be able to reclaim the territories that, you know, sort of belong to them. These aren't key dwarfen settlements, these, by the looks of them. And if we really wanted them, we could just trade them desert territories for it, so I don't care. Reclaimer Baruch. Should be close to the end of the list now, and getting ready for that end turn. Higginbore Iron Pick. Oh, right, you can still move. Alright, I guess you can move to Passive Stone, which barely has anything in it. It'll move you further away from the other lord, but it's okay. And just keep working on it. A little bit more damage, but at the same time, a little bit more XP. I mean, look at our Grail Knights that have been in this army. They started at level 1, and they're now at level 5 and 4. It'll come in handy. And you know what, frankly, move up this way anyway. We can keep moving you north towards the sea, and then start moving you to the Albion Bowl. Why not? Oh, and if Lokir Felhart is still alive, maybe one of you can actually land here at the Cape of Norska, kill him, while the other one lands here and starts fighting demons on Albion. Again, if the campaign, yeah. Anyway, we'll see. I have big dreams. And I made myself sad. Anyway, the Elfar Damon. I laugh because I cannot cry. Anyway, Elfar Damon, you will go to... please attack this. Save me from this line of conversation. Anyway, what do we have here? It's not bad. That's pretty good. That's a lot of Chaos Dwarfs. You know what? Besiege this. I would like to give them a chance to sally out and try us. You know? It's a good army. We'll level up for this. We'll just go Venerate Smednir. It's the easy pick. Aura of Endurance and Obstinacy. You have a mix of Axe Lord units, Tactician, Dowie Firepower, and Iron Drakes. Oh, okay. Thunderer, rather. Axe Lord, Fire and Fury, and Tactician. Okay, well, all your points are going to these guys, but whatever. Rally, Dowie Firepower, and Stand Your Ground. Morgrim's favored, I guess, will actually work already. We don't need Honored by Grimnir. It's the one that has no presence in this particular army. Alright, and there we go. Why do I have 1 point in... Okay, well, I'm not resetting you for 1 point. That's stupid. Lords in Waiting, Grudges to Settle, Hack and Slash, and I guess a Rune of Grimnir into Root Marcher and Full Plate Armor. Good enough. Why are you guys still basic warriors? You should be Longbeards. There you go, that's better. It's a decent mix of units. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's Runesmith up. Forge Fire. Let's go for all the way through to Rune Master. We have all the way through to Strike the Runes. We have good armor in this particular army, though I guess the Thunderers could use more armor. At the same time, we have enough range in this army to, I think, benefit more from sharpened weapons. So we'll do that, and then we'll also go into Renowned until we are the Elite to get at least a little bit of armor going. Like so. Damping is also a good choice, so we have Strike the Runes, and if we could just get to Rune of Sanctuary, that's a little bit less magic defense, or magics for the enemy to use. So Scarred Vet into full plate armor, into Rune of Sanctuary, and we'll take 1 point more to get Rune of Wrath and Ruin. Actually, not super useful against the Chaos Dwarfs. What else do we have here? Enemy miscast chance. You know what? Let's go for old-fashioned tinkering. A little bit more damage. The Rune of Speed and the Rune of Oath and Steel are the important ones. Training, keep training the troops. We are on the defense now, so we'll go for Esteemed Combatant. Obviously, Inherited Arms into Unfaltering into Revered Thane. You can go for Ironbeard because we have enough Fire and Fury guys in here. Let's go for We Are the Elite. Red New Trainer. Obviously, Rune of Grimnir in case you get charged by some horrific demonic thing. Foe Seeker. Blade Shield. And we won't be able to reach Indomitable by the looks of it, so I'm going to say 1 more point in Hero just for the additional experience. Alright. I imagine they'll sally out. They very well should. And you were also supposed to get an Engineer. Oh, that's what that Engineer was for that I built for some random Reclaimer army. It was for this army. And now we don't have one. Well, whatever. My bad, guys. Yeah, I can't keep track of everyone that needs an Engineer. It's impossible. A Reclaimer Redbeard. You... Still on the... Man, you've got a long way to go still. You know what? Take a little bit of attrition. I don't think there's anybody here, and you're kind of in a race with the western provinces. Not that I really care about this territory, but, you know, it just bothers me. They want it, so therefore we must have it. Muster the Throng, you're fine. Ulter Stonehammer, you can go for Dolgan Camp. I'd really prefer you not to get killed by Valkia because you have 3 Grudge Settler units and we can actually make you into a proper army if we desire to do so. Frankly, you actually have a pretty good army. Auto-resolve? Yeah, good enough to not get damaged by the auto-resolve, which is a sign. Unending Volley we don't care about. I see no Valkia at Dark Citadel, which is still well defended, but without a stack there, she's gonna need to show up or else it will fall. You can go for that. Alrighty, who's after Ultra Stonehammer? We do still have 2 fights at least this particular turn, possibly 3. So we gotta get to them. Ulthar, Master... Blah blah blah, Reclaimer Drakebeard. Oh right, I remember this. You are going to land at Porto Real, and you're going to kill it. Resolve. Basically nobody there. The reclaiming is going well. Don't collect the income here since this will probably be traded, even if it does have 3 ports, which is nice. And oh, Wolfric the Wanderer himself is around. Oh, actually, yeah, I remember that. I remember remarking on that last episode. Anyway, details out, other tricksters shard out, and those are going to Rune Lords. You are Reclaimer Drakebeard. Alright, Reclaimer get gold. You can't reach the Black Pit from here, but what you can do is keep collecting and occupying territories, assuming that Gautry Holdfast will reach Crossfur. Frankly, I should have probably put a follower lord in this army, but it's all good. And go for Fastburg, now we'll move to Black Pit afterwards. And we will move you there specifically, because you're an army, again, built to actually auto-resolve capitals. Colonize. It is time. When you're building auto-resolve armies, you have to make at least some that can fight, you know, harder targets where the auto-resolve will not favor you, which, you know, happens a lot of the time. Anyway, let's see who else. A follower. Which follower are you? We got at least 3 of them on the map, I think. Oh, right, you're with Thorgrim. You know what? I actually don't want you to move with Thorgrim right now, because Thorgrim, if he gets attacked by Kugat... Actually, you're fine. And the reason you're fine is because Kuchar has to attack Thorgrim, because he can't go through him because he's blocking the path. And Kugath can't reach him, so he has to go into March stance, so they can only attack Thorgrim. This was actually great positioning. I did it on purpose, guys. Completely on purpose. Trust me. Alrighty, anyway, a Reclaimer Berdrick was next, and he's one of the new Reclaimers, moving here to the undead territories, so keep on going. Reclaimer Skolson, you were delivering these things to Ulfark Barrow's Keeper, who... Right, you go kill this. Declare war. You are not allied with anybody? These guys have been raiding that territory for absolute ages, and they need to, you know, not be doing that. Close victory. Oh, right. I forget that the game doesn't really like all air armies, unfortunately, so they don't actually work very well in auto-resolve. Like, what the heck is that? But anyway. Should be all fine. Do this. We'll spend the turn healing, and then we'll head for the Desolated Expanse, especially if this is their only army. And you can encamp. And I guess we'll level up the engineers here. They're technically supposed to split off into 2 armies, but whatever. You stay here, and then build more gyro... you can build some gyro bombers, why not? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. Alright. They're just patrol armies. I don't really intend to use them. Oh, and in fact, you can be a reclaimer as well. Frankly, they might not be needed at all, as once these guys are gone, this place may not have enough enemies around, and we can just be free to delete them. Or rename them and just keep them standing there, which will be fine. Anyway, near the end of the list now, what do we have here? Muster the Thronger. I was mixed the two. I really should have named them different things. Reclaimer Stronghold. You're actually stuck where you are. You're waiting for a proper Reclaimer to come around. Reclaimer Skolson. You're in the same position. Reclaimer Granite Hand. You are waiting to... Oh, are you just out of range? Yeah. Oh, that would have been perfect. I mean, I guess we could try risking. I don't think he can reach, which is a shame. Alright, fine. What we'll do is we'll send you here. We'll send you here to grab Split Tusk. And we're coming up on this situation, which means we're going to have to react to this situation. So, Reclaimer Granite Hand. Wait. Muster the Thronger. Where is Reclaimer Granite Hand? Here. Reclaimer Grimson. You're the last on the list. Alright, you are going to attack Vespa. I don't know if you can win this, but we need this right now because these territories are undefended. Our walled territories are all here. I was never expecting them to go like this, which I should have been, but, you know, I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So, you will invoke Runes of Grugny for the additional armor, especially for the miners in this army. They're going to need it. You are the only one who can cast runes, and, well, we'll still want to double up on both Axe. Well, I'm not sure that Axe Sword will help you that much. We need at least the Rune of Speed and Oath and Steel. I guess you have the base variants of those, though. Meaning it's not super critical. We do need to win this. And I'm not sure that we can. Alright, we'll do Grimnir Zares, get a little bit of that extra attack for the Ironbreakers. That gives us 7 points to play with. I guess we gotta get Axelord after all. Alright, then we have, if we spend 3 points, we could get Stand Your Ground, which would be fairly helpful here. Or we could get a few different runes. Speed, Oath of Steel. And we already have magical attacks, so the Runic Imbuement is not super relevant. Would Damping help here? This is a caster, yes. So it would. Oh, they have Lore of Beasts, which the miners are not going to be happy about, but it is what it is. Alright, so we'll do this. Rune of... Stand Your Ground is also really good, but the melee defense might not be crazy necessary, although 45 melee attack on these guys, got 59 base melee defense on the miners, so they should still be able to handle themselves. Maybe the runes will have more value after all. A Rune of Oath and Steel, a Rune of Wrath and Ruin, and Damping. I like so. And we'll hope that that works out. We can't evolve these miners, because if we do, it'll probably kill our movement range, and I want to be able to maybe reach Imric. I don't know if we can, but we should give it a try. Now, you are going to get items. I'm not giving you Alaric's armor in case you die. Let's see, we will give you Elfbane. Yes. Melee attack when fighting elves for Lord's army. It will finally come in handy. I knew we would get a mileage out of that. Then, armor-wise and talisman-wise, you're going for Talisman of Preservation and obviously Armor of Destiny. And then lastly, we need a spare... Okay, we need to make him one. Okay. Frickin' Imric. Alright. Iron Warden Stankard. Like so. Alright, then we will give this to you. Huh. Or No, we need. He's probably gonna get focused down, so yeah, we need to give this to him. Where's Iron Warden's tankard? It should be right above. Yeah, there we go. Ancillaries. What do we have here? We don't have artillery, so we can't use that. Master Rune of Valea gives a spell resistance to one assigned unit, but it's a non-character unit. I guess we could do a tip of the spear sort of thing. Maybe. Would be unfortunate to lose a Master Rune, but we'll make some use of it. 25 speed, charge bonus. I mean, we're not using these. Might as well give them to some units. What do we have here? Wailing Banner? Yeah, we could use a Wailing Banner. Razor Standard? Definitely. I really would like to not lose the Banner of Lost Holds because it's nice, but maybe. Let's see, what do we have here? Bonus versus large, Rune of Stoicism, Unbreakable, on assigned unit. Oh, the Unbreakable aspect works for characters, meaning we could make you at least unbreakable, and combined with the healing, you'd probably last a long time, Slaneshi Giggle. Master Rune of Grogny is technically not for this army. Oh, I'm really not willing to risk that one, though. This is for Thorgrim, if he ever encounters anything that requires him to need it. Non-character, you know what? Screw it. Do the Master Rune of Grugny. It's just sitting here. We will eventually probably still give it up, but anyway. I think we have better runes than the Ranger Standard and the other thing, so we'll do Rune of Stoicism, and then War Banner won't be super useful here. The Expert Charge Defense most likely not either. Rune of Courage, Immunity to Psychology is great. You personally... Oh, maybe Rune of Stoicism Unbreakable is good, but maybe giving a Lichbone Pendant to one of the units to do magical damage, and maybe a Banner of Swiftness for you. Meaning we have to take out another rune, so Runesmith's Apprentice, Banner of Swiftness, and I think that's about it. Alrighty. Well, that's it, sir. You're as prepared as you're gonna be. Go into... No, don't change stances because we still need to reach Imric if we survive this. Go for Vespa, which is the better army. Should be a nice fight, an interesting one. Alrighty, close victory, medium casualties. We probably will take sufficient casualties for us to... well, we'll see. We'll do this. Oh, I wonder if there was a rune that would have given the drum a little bit of protection. Well, too late now. I'm going to say... Let's see, Rune of Stoicism is unbreakable, eh? Oh, it wouldn't have gone on a lord anyway. Maybe put it on the drum? You know what, a Master Rune, you know what, they're going to focus down the drum with all that range. We know that, so as much as I'd love to give this to everybody else, we'll make the drum even more buffy. Let's, the Rune Banner of Lost Holds can go in the center, the Razor Standard and Lichbone Pendant can go around it, the Master Rune of Valea with that perfect vigor will go on the Hammerers, which are going to be doing the damage, and the Rune of Stoicism, well... You know what? We'll put it on you. It's another bonus versus large, meaning you can maybe be the one to fight the large units that will inevitably charge our back line. And then lastly, the Wailing Banner. Let's put it on. I know one of these guys, doesn't really matter. All right. Let's see if we can pull this off. It's going to be a toughie. That one is for sure. I really wish that these were blasting charges minors, but we can't risk the movement range, so go. Alrighty, here we go. This should be a very, very interesting one. Can we win this, outnumbered as we are, with what we have, and not only win it, but win it without taking so much casualties that we are then unable to help against Imric himself? Remains to be seen. Now, the good thing is this. We have a little bit of forested terrain over on our right flank, which is where we're going to send the miners because they're weak, and the hammerers as well. Not so much because they're weak, but because they don't have, well, actually, technically, they have the bronze shields, thanks to our lord. It's only 10%, but it's something, and besides, that 10% can be buffed up with the presence of the war drum, but we do have to be careful about the war drum, since the enemy will absolutely try their best to focus it down, and just gotta keep it within range of the rest of our units, but we will allow our heavily armored, heavily gold-shielded iron breakers to advance forward and start taking hits before we move everybody else in. Alright, so here come the iron breakers. Ooh, I just had an idea. If we run the campaign long enough to invade Athaloran, What I might try to do is make an army that's just Ironbreakers and Longbeards with shields, with the idea of essentially creating a turtle and putting them all in shield wall / shield wall of Gromrel, and then just having them sit there, seeing if we can beat a Wood Elf army by forcing all their Glade Guard and other range units to run out of ammunition on all of our heavily shielded, heavily armored units, and only then cutting them down. Oh, I really like that idea. I don't know if it's possible, but it would be really interesting. The war drums would also work really well in that situation, but the enemy would just focus them down. Speaking of being focused down, Ironbreakers taking heavy hits now. Unfortunately, these guys are not rank 7, and thus they don't have access to shield wall of Gromrel, so no additional 20% missile resistance, no additional mass, and no ability to block the block enemy artillery projectiles using ballistic plating. But what can you do? What we can do, though, is get into a little bit of a shootout. They may be able to shoot those arrows of theirs, but we've got blasting charges aplenty, and now that our iron breakers have reached the enemy lines. And there we go. Looks like one of them has been damaged, at least a little bit, and now it's time for the war drum to close the distance, bumping up their missile block chance to 90% over 75 due to the Bastion of the Great Cities buff, and on top of that giving them additional 25 armor as well. And now that these guys have closed the distance, it's time for our miners to move on in. Our iron breakers hold back the tide of enemy melee, and the spears, the Silverin Guard or Illyrian Reavers, the war lions, and anything else, while the miners start rushing the enemy units of range to silence them as best they can. The hammerers are going to tear through this unit of war lines, hopefully reasonably quickly, though the bleed that the lions cause should still be annoying, and then after they're done with them, we'll hopefully move to surround and kill off that darn phoenix, because it would take far too long, most likely, for iron breakers to deal with them, since they're meant to hold the line, not so much as do damage. At least when they're not chucking blasting charges at your face. Anyway, the miners are closing the distance now. The deal, or the idea here, isn't even so much that they're likely to kill off all the enemy range units, but at the very least they can tie them up in melee combat, including the enemy artillery crews. Alright. Not much to say about this aspect of it. The artillery crews are tied up by one unit. The rest are charging while the rest of the enemies, and looks like they're fighting about evenly with the Lothern Sea Guard here. Basic miners, and they are only rank 3 veterancy. Well, it explains why these miners can't quite win against Phoenix Guard, like we've seen the miners under Belagar win. Anyway, it looks like the war lines have been obliterated by the hammerers, who are now moving out of those forests and to their end to surround the enemy Frostheart Phoenix, especially with Reclaimer Grimson holding it back. Alright, and then with the hammers there to do damage, the Phoenix is probably in trouble. The melee portion of the battle is actually going fairly well our way, as the Silverin Guard and whatever other melee troops have moved in have failed to do too much to the Ironbreakers. The enemy did manage to get around us and get some war lines around and starting to damage that war drum, however. So we have moved in a unit of Ironbreakers to see those lions off. And yeah, basically this army in its current state is an exercise in attempting to protect the war drum, as critical as it is. Some of our miners have been joined by hammerers who charge into the rear of those Lothern Sea Guard and will be tearing them to shreds. Look at those elves fall with every strike of a rune hammer. Beautiful. Alright, a few big bonks, and that unit of Lothern Sea Guard loses all of its HP and books it on out of there. Several of our miners are at this point fairly heavily damaged, but they continue either distracting or damaging enemy range units. And just too bad that these are regular miners instead of blasting charge miners, as they would have otherwise had the much easier way, or a much easier way of dealing with the enemy range, via blasting charge rather than trusty pickaxe. Alright, looks like the enemy will use a Vissen's Wild Form on... oh, a couple of units. Okay, it was the Overcast version. I was wondering why it would bother to use Vissen's Wild Form on a regular unit of High Elven Archers. They're not even going to win against Miners. Either way, the bounce power has shifted to about 65% in our favor, and the enemy army is slowly but surely being overrun. The Miners continue distracting what enemy range units they can, while the Ironbreakers begin to once more close the distance, with the enemy out of melee options now. Oh, we just need to close with the Hammerers and Ironbreakers. I do believe the Phoenix has been brought down. You can see its corpse lying in the distance as the Hammerers were able to surround and destroy it. A few enemies are still in the fight. We got a unit of Shadow Warriors here who are winning probably pretty decisively against the Miners, though we did just buff them up a little bit by popping a Master Rune of Oath and Steel in combination with that Bastion of Great Cities, which apparently is now just slightly out of range. Oh no, it's the Rune of Oath and Steel that went out. But that's alright, we got more troops where that came from. And soon we'll be able to hit those Shadow Warriors in the back, at least once we manage to surround everybody. Like the Hammer is going to move on in, and ooh, Amber Spear coming in. I don't know if it was going for those Miners or for our Lord. But with a 70% spell resistance, I don't think trying to cast magic on a Rune Lord is going to be super effective. Alrighty, and it looks like the battle is definitely shifting in our favor now at 85%. And just a little bit more work. Still have to break through those Shadow Warriors and... oh, 2 units of Shadow Warriors. No wonder. This is a pretty decent army, and they did manage to see off those Miners, but too little, too late as the rest of our units arrive and now surround them. Ironbreakers, more Miners, our Rune Lord are all here, and on top of that, we summon the Ancestral Shield Bearers right in the midst of them, sending many of them flying and breaking apart their formation. And we're even going to send in the Drum to melee now, help out a little bit by applying that disoriented ability, -5/-5 melee attack and defense, and on top of that, a 30% speed reduction, which is pretty neat. If we, a War Drum in combination with, I don't know, say a Frostbite unit. They were, even without speed buffs on our units, other infantry would definitely not be able to run away from that. Certainly something to think about. Anyway, for now though, it looks like we have managed to win. We have taken a fair bit of damage on the Miners, which is, well, it's a little bit concerning, I will admit. The Ironbreakers are relatively okay, the Hammerers are okay, so at least the Elites are fine. If we can, I guess we're gonna have to figure out whether we can reach the settlement that Imric is going to go towards, and then try to use its garrison to reinforce, rather than attack Imric directly, which admittedly was also probably not going to happen, even if these guys were at full HP. Still, a really good fight here. Alrighty. We achieved most of our objectives here. One of the Shadow Warriors did get away, but the Phoenix was destroyed, the army was defeated, the Handmaiden and the Lord were both killed, and the artillery were run down, and we were able to preserve most of our elite troops, which we can hopefully heal up by and large. Our War Drum was fairly decently damaged, but that should hardly be of any surprise. And, well, I think this army should no longer be powerful enough to threaten us. Now, the real question is this. Now that we punt this army away, assuming that it is now either too weak or... well, hopefully it can't even travel to the Bone Gulch anymore. Can you, in March stance, move to the Barrow of Malice right here, wherein should Imric attack you or attack the Barrow, you can reinforce. Now, Meneathnir is still, or very much would still be an issue here. Oh, you didn't need to move in March stance. Oh, I guess we have enough buffs now to have basically maximum movement range, or maybe you just have specifically maximum movement range, I'm not sure. Anyway, Ranger Standard, Choirmaster, can you go into, no. Choirmaster, Tiller of Tales, Banner of Swiftness. And we'll level you again. Alrighty, and I guess we'll venerate Smednir again. A little bit of extra armor, a little bit of magical attacks. It's not like Thugni would have helped us at all here. Although enemy wins and magic powers of capacity -25 isn't horrible. Does Imric even have a caster with him? He does not, but I assume that this army would move in to reinforce him. And I still wonder whether it will still attempt to go for Bone Gulch and then Imric might march stance towards it like we just did. It's a possibility. I'll just have to see if it happens. Anyway, I'm still thinking that we do Venerate Smednir though. Though it is unfortunate to lose 5 melee attack, it's still the, I think, better pick. We will then go through Rally into Stand Your Ground against Menaethnir. We'll need it. Grimnir's heirs are the only, or Honored by Grimnir, are the only ones who could benefit from a rank 7, so we'll go for Honored by Grimnir for the Hammerers. And the last point, I guess... if only we had one more, I would have gone for Forge Fire to get that armor reduction, but what can you do? I guess we can start going through a little bit of Obstinacy, which is still... decent. Alrighty, like so. And we'll see if you survive. Also, since we no longer care about range, you guys can now be evolved into miners with blasting charges, which I think we'd probably get a little bit more mileage out of than regular dwarf warriors, because unlike the regular miners, which essentially have to force the enemy archers to run away from them, the blasting charges can stand there and chuck blasting charges, which is the better option. Just in case Dujal Gundrickson gets attacked, we're going to need to level him. And that's Fire and Fury, Grimnir's Heirs, and Tactician. Fire and Fury, Grimnir's Heirs, Tactician. Alrighty, you will obviously venerate Grimnir. Although, funnily enough, you have Leia's Grace, which... I mean, it does feel appropriate, but it's just that Venerate Grimnir is a better buff. But you can have both Leia's Grace and the Veneration of Grimnir. You're a Slayer, after all. Still gonna have to go for the Venerate Grimnir, I think.
Not bad.
A little bit of melee attack. Frankly, it really only helps the Slayers, but Leia's... a little bit of missile resistance, I guess. Or Rally, and then obviously Dowie Firepower, and then Honored by Grimnir, and then Stand Your Ground, and then Morgrim's Favorite. Alright, we have a few more points remaining. We will go for Slayers to me. We will go through Army of One, and Demon's Be... just get 1 point, I don't care. And then Demon's Bane, and Death Wish. Next, we will obviously get Rune of Grimnir. Blade Master, I would like you to at least somewhat survive a few hits from Imric, so he'll get hard to hit, and I'm going to say Deadly Blade as well, because your melee attack was a little bit on the lower side. For 1 point, now I'm going to say more points in Deadly and Blade Shield. Every hit from Menaethnir that doesn't land is a hit that you have survived. Alright, and your items, I believe, are good. We've already done the itemization, and I'm somewhat too lazy to do the runes, so you can just work with what you got, essentially. Alright, what about you? We'll grab We Are the Elite. Actually, you don't have enough points to do that. Let's go Distinguished Slayer, Army of One, Slayer of Many, and then Big Game Slayer. Main reason here, and Dragon's Bane. And then you can still go for Follower of Grimnir. All of you will need to work together to bring Menaethnir down. You'll still need Rune of Grimnir, so that he doesn't... Well, I mean, he's still going to push you around, admittedly, but it is what it is. Deadly, or Blade Master, rather, and I'm going to say again, into Hard to Hit will be 1 point short, unfortunately, of Foe Seeker, but what can you do? Guess you can get a little bit of extra speed out of Hidden Paths. You will do the same thing, minus not being able to afford Hidden Paths. Army of One, Big Game Slayer, Dragon's Bane, Rune of Grimnir, and then Hard to Hit. You know what, maybe we'll do 10 speed. Nah, screw it, do Hard to Hit. Alright, Runesmith. Hardened armor or sharpened weapons. I'm going to say this army is going to get more benefit out of sharpening their weapons. They're going to need to be real sharp to get through Dragonhide. A rune, or Dragon Scales rather, a Rune of Speed, and definitely want to get Oath and Steel. I would actually like to get Forge Fire here as well. So Damping, Wrath and Ruin, Slowness, Forge Fire. Can't really benefit from We Are the Elite as yet, though these guys are getting close to it, so then I think we'll go all the way through to Strike the Runes, because it gives us Wardbreaker and Rune of Hearth and Home. Strike the Runes. And then Runic Imbuement all the way through to Rune Master. I'm willing to bet that Imric is going to attempt to kill this guy, because, well, the AI tries that sort of thing. We'll go for Renown, we'll go 1 point in... You know what, we'll do... Oh, we can't reach Rune of Sanctuary anymore. 1 point extra in Rune of Speed, 1 point extra in Rune of Oath and Steel. Because those are the critical ones. And then lastly, the Engineer. You obviously break open the casks into Triangulation, Flash Bomb, Deadeye, rather. And... I'm going to say Sapper over Requisition on this one. And then the Power 42 pounders, and oh, you actually still have enough for acquisition anyway, so it didn't matter. And then we will eventually go through We Are the Elite. Alrighty, and you have your itemization already. These guys are okay, and you have a brass cleaver and the other trickster shard. And the only thing I would like to get you is a gatekeeper's helm, but we already do have one on the master engineer, so not as big a deal. Alright, good enough. Good enough. Let's see. I believe that was the end of the list, so we have 2 things to do other than that before we can end the turn. There's also the fact that we're basically out of time, but I'm kind of invested right now in this end turn, so just give it a minute. We were besieging something, and I was going to attack it, but now, having had all those distractions, I no longer remember what it was that I was besieging and where it was. Other than Bugman, and we had 2, right? Not you. There's no sieges happening here. No sieges here. Am I crazy? Huh. And I'm gonna end the turn, I'm gonna find something. Gonna be down here. No sieges, no sieges, and no sieges. It wasn't Thorek. You're near to besieging. Huh. Alright, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is nothing else that we were besieging. Oh. Yes, there was. Swamp Eater Camp. I knew there was something. Alright, it wouldn't let us auto-resolve this. I mean, admittedly, it is a pretty darn elite Dark Elven stack. Wait, did I do building this episode, or no? Would we still have to do it before ending the turn is the question, and I think I did, so we wouldn't have to. Alright, fine, fair enough. Just for Zorn and go kill this, I think it'll still be worth fighting, especially since we're damaged, and the auto-resolve, I mean, identifies the fact that the enemy has a lot of elite units. Go. I mean, what else would you do with Oathbreakers? Anyway, here we go. Huh, interesting. I see that there's a single unit of Ironbeards moving, Iron Drakes, rather, moving in front of the formation, which is kind of neat. I almost feel like I miss that captain unit mod. Need banners and captains and such. But anyway, here we go. Minor settlement. Ooh, tier 4 tower. We're gonna have to bring that down with our gyrocopter as quick as we can, as that thing will certainly dish out damage. Though fortunately, we do a fair bit of damage ourselves. Though there is a black dragon floating around up there, it's taking massive blows from all of our range units and iron drakes and drake guns as well, bringing it down rather quickly. Sometimes it's a very good idea to sally out your flyers like this, but moving alone and unsupported when we have plenty of answers to it, saw the dragon brought low rather quickly. Now in the meantime, while our gyrocopters are flying around, the enemy will start activating all of those black arc support abilities and start damaging our units. Luckily, we have 50% spell resistance even on the lowly miners, which is pretty okay. And Black Arc support abilities aren't crazy damaging in the first place. I'm gonna get to annoying the enemy with our flyers, mostly at this point trying to do our best to knock out the enemy range units, because while in these minor settlements, while there's all these sort of structures and other things blocking the line of sight of our flame cannons and even our grudge throwers, it means we have no artillery support and no way to arc our shots. Only direct fire, pretty much. And thus, all of the units of Dark Shards and any arcing shot enemies will be a fairly major threat. Unfortunately rather for them, we should be able to knock them out fairly quickly with the amount of gyrocopters we have here. Would probably be faster if we had the regular ones rather than the brimstone guns, but it should still work out quite nicely. Alrighty, and ooh, hello, looks like a unit of the Cold One Dread Knights will attempt to charge towards us. Damn, took a lot of shots from those Iron Drakes before we brought them down, but it is a tier 5 unit, so that should hardly be surprising. But again, charging in alone and unsupported like this means that you're gonna have a bad time. Alright, well, I guess that means we can continue moving our way forward, and well, if it isn't a Hydra walking around up there, I guess with no more dark shards to target here, we can bring down the big ol' Hydra as well, mostly just to prevent it from getting its fire breath off, though admittedly, and out of curiosity, what's our fire resistance on our Iron Drakes? 80%. So on the Iron Drakes it's pretty good, on the Drake guns though it's only 30% as they have no base fire resistance compared to the Iron Drakes. Certainly something to be somewhat concerned about. And what do we have here? Unit of Witch Elves is booking it forward real quickly. And just as we make it forward with our Iron Drakes, looks like they managed to close the distance just before when we get off a volley. Fortunately, though, we can move our single entities up and then move our Iron Drakes back and prepare them to fire. We're certainly going to need it as Executioners are closing the distance and getting ready to join the fray together with the Witch Elves, though admittedly the Witch Elves have all at this point been destroyed. And it looks like the Executioners follow suit rather quickly and melt away. Only 60 units in a blob of execs after all. There we go. Alrighty, gonna drop a few bombs on the enemies, mostly trying to target the Black Ark Corsairs because they have those handbows of theirs, and again, anti-large handbows, which would certainly be a threat to our gyrocopters. And even though we can't use our artillery here, it looks like the gyrocopters are serving that purpose and harassing the enemy army fairly well. And, ooh, just as we move around, looks like the enemy activates a bunch of its Black Ark support abilities on top of our units while they're blobbing up. Good use of that ability while we're in a choke point as well, so props to the AI for that one. Another Hydra, second Hydra moving in, but again, this pack of gyrocopters is anti-large specialized, and both the brimstone guns and the regular, or the engineers also have brimstone guns on them, so everybody's anti-large and high damage dealing. Lots of overkill on small units with giant piles of infantry, but it works very well against the large units. Anyway, blasting charges fly on in, and the units of Witch Elves will rout, and the madness of Cain persists even after they rout and shatter. That's kind of interesting, didn't know that. And ooh, nice little charge from the Cold One. Dread Knights into the Drake guns over on this side. We're gonna have to move the gyrocopters to reinforce, and at last send in the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. Admittedly, they've rarely been needed in this army, as most enemy armies will melt away before they are able to close the distance, but here our Warriors of Dragonfire Pass will face off against enemy Dread Knights and Executioners, about an elite as a combination of infantry and cavalry that the Dark Elves can bring. And a pretty devastating one. Admittedly, though, with the gyrocopters helping out and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass having 88 melee defense, the enemy couldn't do too much to them. Well, their melee attack is a little bit low. We can always Runesmith buff them up, should it be needed. Anyway, the bounce power shifts to about 90% in our favor. Just a little bit more work, a little bit more flames the enemy's way. It looks like there are still a few Blackguard of Naggarond running around. Or I should say, running around in a panic. When in deadly danger, when beset by doubt, run in little circles, wave your arms and shout. There we go. That's what they did, and that's what they do to the end of the battle, as the enemy army will shatter, and the balance of power, or the battle will be ours, rather. No artillery needed. Alright, there we go, no problem. Under 10% losses despite the fact that we couldn't use our artillery at all, and the fact that the enemy was waiting for us within the center of the settlement, not daring to get closer, and then dropping that Black Ark support on us over and over again in the choke points. Still not enough malice, and I do believe you are done. Yes, construction, dwarf bride, stonemason, and he is not. Oh, right. Well, I mean, his faction is effectively destroyed. It's just that he has the Black Arks, which I don't know that we're going to bother chasing around. What we will do here, however, is build a couple of military structures, possibly. The fastest building ones, and just upgrade this. I don't really care. We are going to trade this to Mr. Caravan of Blue Roses, to Helman Gorst. so that we don't have to go here. He can have the jungles and the garbage swamplands and all of that, and we're not going to make any kind of defensive alliance with him. Probably not even a military axis. Just keep the trade in the non-aggression and give him the thing to get him to declare more wars on our enemies, and then just keep fighting the demons in an endless sort of war, especially since this is the path to the realm of chaos, and we certainly don't need to bother dealing with it. Anyway, with that, folks, I believe we're out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. The only... I mean, I wonder if Himric will actually dare to attack us here. I feel like he won't, because with this and the garrison at the Barrow of Malice is probably too good for him to even attempt this, meaning he'll probably back off. I might just end the turn, and then so I can do the admin, at least the building between the episodes, and when we come back, we'll be looking to hunt him down, if I remember to do so. But anyway, with that, we're out of time. Next time, we continue to reclaim the realms. Go figure, and move closer to the rest of the grudges. Knights of Calador on the way out, Northern Grey Mountains soon, Clan Scryer on the way out, and Legion of Asgore and Legion of the Gore Queen, rather, very much soon on the way out. Hopefully we can get that Greyling Moot, and we are moving towards the Monolith of Bjorkil. I'm not really looking at Helgi Oathbreaker because it's insane, and the Sealed Tombs, we are 7 turns away from it. I feel like maybe they'll spawn at 4. I guess we're going to find out. Stay tuned for more. Likes and comments below. Glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.